When it comes to staying safe, avoiding the conflict altogether is the safest way. You never put yourself in a risky situation, then it's a 100% chance that you're going to stay safe. Obviously, there's no guarantee that you can 100% of the time avoid conflict or a risky situation. There are some simple measures that you can take to minimize the chance of you being faced with or getting into a dangerous situation. The very first step of avoiding something is to recognize that something. Situational awareness. Today on Powerhouse Tactical. Welcome, fellow Americans. In today's video, we'll be sharing the importance of being aware of your surroundings and your situation. We call it the situational awareness. By knowing what's going on around you, you'll have the upper hand in avoiding and possibly getting away from high-risk situations before others even realize what's going on. Let's begin with what I mean by being aware of your situation. An awareness has three main stages. We do this every day, all the time, without even realizing we're doing it. It really takes a split second for these stages to be processed by your brain and your senses. So, stage one, your brain receives information. We receive all kinds of information throughout the day from our five senses and that are fed to our brain in a lightning speed. Then our brain processes the information in stage two and figures out what they all mean. Also, this is where the brain filters out what is important and what is not important. Then in stage three, we decide what to do with that information. Do we talk? Do we act? Do we run? Do we fight? Do we defend? And so on. So back to stage one. We use our sensory system to gather information for our brain to process. We have five senses, right? Sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. But in this video's purposes, we'll be talking about just four of those senses. Everything except the taste. So sight will visually tell us what's going on around us. That's pretty much our first line of defense. Such as seeing a man with a coat in the middle of summer. Hearing will detect sounds such as crowd yelling or big banging noise from a distance. Nose will detect things like smell of gas or wood burning or some good smells like perfume or flowers. And finally, our skin will sense the ambiance, such as sudden change in temperature and things like that. In stage two, you process these gathered data. A man in a long coat in summertime at a coffee shop. Well, what are his eyes doing? How is he handling his hands? A sudden scream of many people or sound of loud bangs at a shopping mall in the distance. Well, something not so desirable is happening in that direction, right? Smelling of gas in a restaurant all of a sudden. There's a good chance there's a gas leak. Feeling of a sudden drop of temperature in an office space. Somebody must have opened the door. Now that our brain has received and processed and made some level of conclusion with these data that had been gathered as to what may be happening, the decision for action is made in stage three. While keeping watch of the man in the coat in that coffee shop, you might want to gather your things and start casually towards the door. Depending on the action of the man, you may be forced to run, or even hide, or even get ready to protect yourself. Upon hearing the loud noise at the mall, per se, you can start moving away from that commotion. Look for the nearest exit out of the shopping center. Smell of gas may prompt you to call the server or the manager to let them know, and simultaneously getting yourself and your children and whatnot out of there. A sudden draft, a cold wind that you felt in an office space calls for maybe something very simple, like looking up to see who came in through that door, which door is open, maybe the window just got opened, or call for action, like yelling out to the person nearest to the door and say, hey, it's cold, shut the door. Now that we have an understanding of how this business of awareness process works, let's dive into different levels of awarenesses, 0 to 100%. So you're at the condition white when you're too focused on either one thing or just distracted by too many things to be aware of your surroundings. You're oblivious to your environment and not able to sufficiently gather the necessary and relevant information to convey to your brain about your environment. In today's world, the technology is a huge distraction for us to be at our best in being situationally aware. Condition yellow is the most recommended state. This is the level of awareness that is relaxed and not distracted. You see and hear things. You even notice the various small changes in the ambient temperature and smells. An important thing to understand about condition yellow is that it's not being paranoid all the time. There's a difference. This is not freaking out every time you see or hear something. This is you, still relaxed, yet being aware of what's going on around you. This state of awareness is the state to be in, especially if you're carrying a firearm. Think of it this way: if you had noticed something ahead of time and were able to get away from that, you may not have been forced to shoot back at that person. You may have had more time to get your loved ones out of there in time, and so on. So let's move on to the next stage in situational awareness. The condition orange. To describe this state simply, this is the time when you notice something that may potentially be a danger to you and or your loved ones. Your heart is pumping faster, unlike condition yellow. That suspicious man in a long coat at a coffee shop, shifty eyes and not knowing what to do with his hands, pacing back and forth with no particular purpose, and repeatedly looking out the window. This type of things is something you want to notice early. Best to be the first person to notice something like that. It may turn out to be nothing. It may turn out to be something. The decision to take what action is completely up to you. It's nerve-wracking. It's quite scary to think about these things in this day and age, to even imagine noticing someone like that. But think about it. Wouldn't you want to have the time to decide and prepare to draw your firearm to protect you and your loved ones, or have enough time to get out of there, get your things, get your people out of there so you don't even have to end up using your firearm? I would much prefer this than finding out what's going on when it's already too late. Which brings us to the next condition, next and final condition, condition red. So the condition red is where the crap actually hits the fan. It's happening. The man in the coat has presented his weapon and threatened to hurt others, asking for money or different property, screaming for the cashier to hand over the money in the register. You now have to run, hide, or worse yet, defend. A very important fact to remember here is that the condition orange is crucial in your chance of survival. At the same time, it can only be experienced by people who practice living their lives in the condition yellow. Think about it. People who walk around every day in condition white with their face buried in their cell phones will only get to realize what is going on after it's too late. People in condition white will go straight from white to condition red. People in condition yellow are the only ones who have the luxury to experience the orange and be afforded that time, that chance to avoid it. A chance to prevent or get away from the disastrous and potentially life-threatening situations. So keep your eyes off your smartphones. Take those earbuds out of your ears. Be sure to notice alternate exits whenever you walk into a restaurant or any other place for that matter. Kitchens, those are great places because they will always have a back door for them to take their trash out. Choose a seat that faces the front door and able to see the majority of the space. A quick looking up whenever you hear the door open may enable you to see someone you know. Not only looking out for the threat, but this will allow you to say hello first every time. What a friendly person they'll think. Being situationally aware not only will prevent you from getting into such threatening situations, but can even help your social life. When you're walking, driving, visiting places, it is safe for you and others around you to be situationally aware. In our future video, we'll look at how you can be at condition white, at least when you're at home. Your home is your castle, or at least it should be. But just by walking into your home and closing that door behind you does not automatically make your home a castle. If that were the case, there would not be the word home invasion. It is not physically possible for me to be at condition yellow when I'm in bed, sleeping. I'm forced to be at condition white. So I really would like to be at condition white when I'm with my family and my house. So I need to make sure that my home is protected, even when I'm at condition white. So we'll have some experts on our video next time to talk about how to make your home worthy to be called a castle. Learn a few tricks and also about some tools and new technologies that are out there. Also see the other solutions that can help secure our castle for you and your loved ones. So thanks for joining us today. Stay safe, stay yellow. God bless you, and God bless our Republic.